Hey everyone, we're here with Carlo, one of the co-founders of Hummingbot. They'll be doing a workshop on Hummingbot and liquidity mining, and I'll let him take it from here. Can you guys confirm in the chat that you can hear him?
Hi everyone, I'm Carlo, CEO of Hummingbot. Hope everyone's having a good summit so far. As Sinju mentioned, just let me know if you can't hear me. So I'll assume if I don't hear anything otherwise, that you guys can hear me okay. Okay, thanks for confirming. So in this session, I'm going to talk to you about liquidity mining, as well as provide a demo of how Hummingbot Miner, which is our liquidity mining platform, how that works. Just a quick note before I get started, this is not intended to be financial or investment advice. Before participating in any kind of liquidity mining, you should do your own research. I will also be showing some trade settings and that these are solely for demonstration purposes only. With that said, let's jump in. Also, feel free as well as we go along to post questions on the chat, so then we'll have time at the end to go over those. So in concept, Hummingbot Miner is pretty much the same as liquidity mining, as has been popularized by DeFi protocols such as Balancer, CurveFi, and Uniswap. So Hummingbot Miner and DeFi liquidity mining are both essentially trying to do the same thing. So liquidity mining, it's a framework for incentivizing a decentralized group of actors for providing liquidity. And Hummingbot Miner and AMMs just take a different approach on how to get there. And to explain this concept, I'll actually start by giving a quick overview of how liquidity mining works in DeFi. And I'm sure many of you are already familiar with this, but this will also help to explain how our system, Hummingbot Miner, works. So here's an example of a liquidity pool in Uniswap. In order to participate, a user first deposits assets into the liquidity pool. So this makes him a liquidity provider, or LP. So the assets in the pool are used to enable trading between, in this case, ETH-DAI, or whatever other asset is in that specific pool. And it's used to facilitate trading for other traders in the market. And for each trade, the liquidity pool receives a fee of 0.3%, which is accumulated and split and shared among all the LPs. Now, at some point in the future, the LP can take his assets out of the pool. The amount of assets he takes out will likely be different from what he deposited in the first place. And there will probably be a different mix of Ethereum DAI. That depends on the trading that's happened in the liquidity pool. And then he could also have incurred, as a result, some gains and losses. And he also gets a share of the trading fees that have accumulated since he was participating as a liquidity provider. So that's the basic fundamental description of how an automated market maker works. So the next part is where liquidity mining comes in. So previously, the 0.3% trading fee wasn't really a lot that was being paid to LPs. And there have been a number of studies showing that the LP is probably going to be worse off than if he had just huddled, done nothing at all, and just held the assets. So that's what made, so what liquidity mining kind of did, it was introduce additional token rewards that sweetened the deal for LPs. For every Ethereum block that the LP's assets are in the pool, the LP is earning additional, in this case, Uni tokens. So that's kind of what made liquidity mining really popular. So these protocols were offering generous pool rewards. Okay, so now we move on to Hummingbot Miner. So the biggest difference between DeFi AMMs and Hummingbot Miner is that Hummingbot Miner is not a smart contract protocol. Instead, it's software and infrastructure that allows for the same concept of liquidity mining, but allows it and enables it on centralized exchanges. So the trading happens on centralized exchanges. So if you were going to participate in Hummingbot Miner, you would trade assets out of your own exchange account. And in order to earn liquidity mining rewards, you would need to create orders on exchange, as you would with normal trading. And more specifically, you would be creating buy and sell maker orders. And so you would be contributing to the order book depth on that exchange. You'd also, because it's not automated, you also need to continually refresh and update your orders depending on changes in market. Also, if your orders have been filled or not. And this concept, in a nutshell, is basically the traditional concept of market making. So in the diagram here, you could first use a bot like Hummingbot to automate your orders. Obviously, this is more because you're refreshing orders, you wouldn't want to do this manually, so it makes a lot more sense to automate that. So Hummingbot is software that you install on your computer, and in it, you specify your trading parameters. And the bot next, it uses trade-enabled API keys that you've input to connect to the exchange. And with this authorization, it creates orders and manages orders and trades on your account. Now, the next part is where Hummingbot Miner, our system, comes in. So Hummingbot Miner, it collects order book data from the exchange, and it uses that data to determine the rewards that are due to miners. Participating users need to enter their read-only API keys, and that's what allows the system to retrieve the order data and allocate rewards to them. And the last part here, so similar to the concept of rewards being earned for each block in DeFi, in our version of liquidity mining, rewards are earned for every minute based on the orders that you've created and placed in the order book in that minute. The rewards can then be paid out in any token. So it can be paid out in stable coins, or we can actually pay out issuers' own native tokens on their own blockchain. So what's important to note here is you can see that Hummingbot, the trading bot, is actually separate from Hummingbot Miner. Since Hummingbot is the trading software is open source, users run it on their own computers, and we don't see any of their data. So just like any open source software, users can use it as they wish without us really knowing what they're doing with it. And then separately, Hummingbot Miner, it's a separate set of data infrastructure. And that's what enables the collection and analysis of orders that users are creating. And so if you wanted to participate in Hummingbot miners and use Hummingbot, you'd have to set up both Hummingbot, the trading bot, and also Hummingbot miners independently. So now I'll provide a demo of how it all kind of works. So to get started, since I mentioned earlier, you'll be trading on your own Binance account. You basically need an account on that exchange. And you need to load it up with some assets that you're going to use for trading. We'll then need to set up 2 sets of API keys. So one is for the trading bot, and then one is for the Hummingbot miners. So you just simply go under the user icon. There will be a section API management. And here, this is how you set up API key. You give it a name, you create it. You can see here, I've already created 2 API keys. So the first one here is the trade-enabled API key. So you can see that the enabled spot and margin trading restriction is enabled. And then secondly, for Hummingbot Miner, I have this other API key. That is one in which I've disabled trading. So this one can only read, so that's what makes it a read-only API key. So then you just save these keys, and then to save them for later, we'll be using them when we set up Hummingbot and Hummingbot miners. Okay, so the next step is we would need to go ahead and install Hummingbot. So one way you can do that is you can just go to our home under Get Started, and you can download it. So you can download the version of Hummingbot that's appropriate for your operating system, and then simply run that. Other ways you can install Hummingbot, you can use pull it from GitHub or Docker and run it that way as well. So in this computer, I already have Hummingbot up and running. So you can see it here. So as you can see, Hummingbot is a terminal command line application. This is because when running trading bots, typically you'd want them running 24/7. So ideally, you'd want at least the ability to run them on cloud servers. We do have plans for a GUI, but that's later in the future. Right now, it is terminal only. So next, you would connect your account. So using the API keys you created. So I'll just zoom in here. So if I type in connect, you can see the exchanges that are available right now that's integrated into Hummingbot. Just for an example, you can see here, I've already connected to Binance there, but if I wanted to connect another exchange, I could say connect, let's say Bitfinex. I'm just going to put in some random values, so it's not going to work, but you can see that how Hummingbot works is whenever you're doing some operation, setting up some config, there will be a walkthrough. So you'll be prompted questions relevant for that config that you're setting, and you input them, and it will just go step by step. So here, I'll just put some random values. So here, obviously, it's not going to work. So it failed because I just put in some random values. But you can see here that I entered API keys. And however, Hummingbot already confirmed they're not running. That's to be expected since they're not real API keys. But you can see that's the process of how you'd connect to exchanges. And then the next step is I would create a trading strategy. So here I'll type in create. So I hope you can all see the screen. I'll try to zoom in again. Here, so it's asking me what strategy I want to use. And we'll just set up a very basic strategy. Again, this is not intended to be any kind of advice. It's just some demonstration settings that I'm gonna use to demo the bot. Here are the different strategies we can use. So I'll just use market making. And we'll set it up on Binance. So I'll choose Binance. Next, I'll choose a pair to trade. So in this example, I'll use Bitcoin USDT. And then the next two parameters are pricing parameters. So this basically, when you're market making, you typically make bid and ask spreads, bid and ask orders. So that's what you'd enter here, the parameters for those. So the first one is asking me what bid spread I should use for my buy orders. So here, since Bitcoin is really tight, it's very liquid, I'm going to use a fairly tight spread just so you can actually see the orders on the order book. So this is a 0.03% spread, which is pretty tight. Same for ask spread, I'll use the same value. Next, it's going to ask me how often I want to refresh my orders. Here I'll put in, let's say, 20 seconds. So that will also should allow us to see the bot updating orders as I'm going through this demo. And then next, I'll put in a minimum order amount. So I'll just be sure to use a value that exceeds the minimum amount that's required by the exchange for orders of that specific asset. So this next question, this ping pong feature, so we actually have a number of advanced features that allow users to kind of customize and control and do a bit more things like risk management, inventory management. For this demo, I'm just going to use the default. I'll just say no, but just note that there are additional settings you can look into that can give you a bit more control over the bots and help you customize it a bit more. So that's pretty much it. So you can see we've already set up a market making strategy. The next question is it's asking me to save the configuration. So I'll just do that. And now it's ready to start. But before we start, I'll just go back to my Binance page and then show you that it's placing orders. So here I've chosen Bitcoin USDT. That's that we currently have no open orders here. And once we hit start, it's connecting. You can see on the right, it started logging that it's connected to Binance. You can see that it's also created orders. So if we go back to our Binance page, you can see it's already created the buy and sell orders. You can look in order book, so you can actually see it in the order book, those orders I just created. You can see that here. And also, if you notice just now, the order also refreshed just as I was scrolling through. But here is my order. So it's making a bid order. And then on the ask side, it's also created an ask order. So just like that, I'm actually already acting as a market maker. I've added to order book depth because I'm helping to populate the order book that facilitates liquidity, allows others to trade on that. And that's pretty much it. So that's kind of the first part. I'll just stop the bot for now. So that's kind of the first part. And as I mentioned earlier, when you're trading, as I did right now, since this bot's not registered with our miners app, we actually wouldn't see the trading that's going on. And so the next step is to connect it and set us up on Hummingbot Miner. So on Hummingbot Miner, it's miners.hummingbot.io. This is our dashboard and interface for using our system. So in the first part, when you log in for the first time, you'll be asked to create a login. So I've already done that here. So this is already logged in. Then I'll go to settings. And then there's the first part here. It shows connect exchanges. So right now we only have liquidity mining enabled on Binance, Binance.com. And we are adding in other exchanges as we go. So we incrementally add them. But for right now, we have Binance. You can see here, I've already connected to Binance with this user. But if I hadn't, this would have disabled. I would just click on that, enter the read-only API keys that I created earlier. So note here, it's important to use the read-only API key, submit those, and then enter. So now what that does, it allows the Hummingbot Miner system to retrieve the orders that I'm creating, and then it allows miners to use that to determine the assets, the rewards that are due based on my trading activity. One other point of to set up here is connect wallets. So here we have a section where you enter in the wallets, and this is just where you want to receive your liquidity mining rewards. Because we give issuers the option to kind of pay in their own different tokens, there will be could be different wallets that we would pay to here. So if you're participating in a campaign, just make sure you would have a wallet where you can receive that reward. You can see here right now we're enabled these 4 wallets. We recently announced this past week we are launching campaigns for NEM and Algorand. So both of those campaigns are paying their own native tokens. So in the next few days, we'll have Algorand wallets and NEM wallets enabled here as well, which you can connect to if you are going to participate in those campaigns. So that's pretty much it. So I'm already set up to run Hummingbot Miners. So now it will start tracking my orders. As long as I keep trading, I will continue to accrue and earn rewards. And then I can see that here on this site. Just to give a bit more overview of our system. So next, we go to the homepage here. You can see, if you scroll down, we have this table. If you've seen the yield farming tab on CoinMarketCap, this might look a little bit familiar to you. But what this basically shows is the campaigns that we currently have running that are live. And it shows summary key metrics for each campaign. So you can see here right now, we currently have campaigns for 3 issuers for COTI, Mainframe, and iExec. And each of them have different reward pools for different trading pairs. Now, some of these metrics, so you can see here, just walking through the top line. So for this COTI BNB, for example, you can see which exchange that the campaign is being run on, what it's paying out in rewards. So this is paying out in Tether. And then here, some of the key metrics, you can see the current active bots for that trading pair. This means what that is, the aggregate amount of orders from miners that are participating right now. And because to create orders on Binance or exchanges, you need to use assets, deploy assets to do so. So this is actually very similar in concept to the AMM DeFi liquidity mining concept of total value locked, so TVL. And then yield here, that's just a measure of the total reward pool and how it compares to the amount of liquidity at the moment. So you can see here, the yields are pretty high because the liquidity amounts are relatively low compared to the amount of rewards. And just go into a bit more detail on that, we can click on one of these markets. So I'll choose this COTI USDT, for example. So for this trading pair, you can see the weekly rewards available is 250 USDT. And here we have a max spread. So issuers can set parameters for the campaign. So what this says is only orders with spreads of 2% or tighter will qualify to earn rewards. If it's the orders are placed that spreads wider, it wouldn't count. And this one's paying in USDT. And then further down this table, so this actually shows the concept what I mentioned earlier. So these minute snapshots, which are equivalent of blocks, this has detail into each minute. So you can see here, this is specific for that minute. And you can also see, actually, we'll just walk through this quickly. So in this particular minute, there were 23 bots. What spread is, this is the weighted average spread of all the orders from all the participating miners. Here's the reward per day for this trading pair, and then also the liquidity. So you can see how yield per day is kind of calculated, and you can also see why the annual yields are fairly high. So this one is there's roughly $36 of rewards per day. Currently, there's roughly 3,700, or let's just round it, let's say 3,600 of liquidity. So that's roughly 1%. So 1% per day. If you look at it over a year, that's a 365, something like that. So that just gives you a ballpark idea of why the yields are so high. It's because the rewards compared to the liquidity at this point in time is very high. And then if I click on one of the snapshots, which I just did, we can break it down even further. So you can see between all miners, you can see the total orders liquidity provided for this particular minute snapshot. You can see how it breaks down to bid and ask. You also note here, this testing bot, so this testing account is actually active in Koti USDT. So now I can also see my orders and my data. So here I can see the orders that I created in that snapshot. So that also helps kind of explain like how much of the rewards I'm able to take to receive as a portion of the overall pool of miners. We can also here further break down into some of the spreads, and also here rewards earned. So that shows what I earned versus the rest of the miners. So other useful things on our application here on dashboard. This shows like my history of rewards. So you can see here for every snapshot, these are the campaigns that this bot is participating in and the rewards it's earning. You can see those accumulating here. You can also see the payouts history. So the payouts I received over time. This also has a performance metric. So you can see kind of P&L over time, depending on one of the markets that you've participated in. So let's say RSC ETH. If it's traded, you can see it actually has some P&L over this time, mainly because actually it looks like the bot actually didn't trade. So the bot didn't incur any gain or loss in the past hour, but I did manage to earn 3 cents of rewards for creating orders. And the last thing to show here on our miners application is we have a leaderboard. So this is, you can see just like how you stack against the rest of the community, and also see some of the top miners, how much they're earning, and this is for the current period. You can also see it break down into individual markets as well. So that pretty much wraps up our demo. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. If you want to learn more information, we actually put out 2 blog posts that go kind of into more detail, comparing liquidity mining on Hummingbot Miner versus DeFi. So you're more than welcome to check this out. And those are just available on our homepage. And also, if you have any other questions, feel free to join our Discord community. So we have our community there. You can chat with us. You can chat with the team, 24/7 support. And with that, I'll just kind of open it up for questions. So let me try to find my screen here. There we go. So actually a few things, maybe while I'm waiting for other questions, since we have time, other things to explain. One other, you also saw when I was explaining it. So another difference between us and how you earn rewards on AMMs is it's the first part they share in common. So in liquidity pools, as with us, the larger your orders are, the larger you participate, the larger share of the pool you have. And also the more minutes or the more time that you spend contributing to liquidity or acting in the liquidity pool, the more rewards you earn. But one other difference with us is we also weight rewards by spread. So the tighter orders are used, the more you're able to earn. So users who place orders with tighter spreads, they're contributing more to liquidity and the tradability of the assets. So they're able to earn more reward than someone saying using wider spreads.
So regarding Hummingbot, why would someone choose to use templates trading bot software versus creating their own from scratch? I'm just curious.
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. So what we've done here, and if anyone who's ever tried to create a trading bot, and also in our experience, we were also previously, we ran our own quant fund. What we kind of tried to build with Hummingbot is a base layer infrastructure. So when fund managers are running their funds, even us, you'd rather focus on your strategy. You don't necessarily want to be spending your time connecting to exchanges, building connectors to exchanges and troubleshooting them all the time. So what we've kind of done with our bot is we've enabled it so that folks can just focus on their strategies and not worry about the lower level engineering technical implementation. So we've kind of made it highly customizable. It's also very developer friendly. So even if anyone wants to hack and build on top of it, it's a good platform to start doing that so that they don't have to spend the time that frankly our team is doing to basically get that up and running in the first place. So there's a question. So why isn't there that much liquidity yet on Hummingbot? And also why is trading bot so hard? So Hummingbot, we open sourced it early last year. So it's been around since like March, April of last year. So we've continually been trying to improve it. We actually have a number of users, so issuers, funds, lots of individual users using it, but they're just not running it for Hummingbot miners. And right now, for Hummingbot miners, the reason why liquidity is kind of low is we've had campaigns rolling on and off. So for right now, we have 3 campaigns. So it's we've already run 8 campaigns so far. So we had higher levels of liquidity in the past. Once we announce NEM and Algorand, I think that will definitely boost up the liquidity. And one problem is, as you can see, running trading bots, it's a lot more hands-on than, say, just depositing assets into a smart contract. So it does take some onboarding. A lot of our users do spend a fair amount of time monitoring, tweaking their bots. So that's why there's kind of less user usage so far. But I think we're trying to make it easier over time. As we add more campaigns, more exchanges, we'll kind of hopefully grow the user base some more. I think one of the limitations right now is because the system is fairly complex, we've only launched on Binance, we've only had a number of issuers, and as we continue to grow that, we should see usage and participation grow as well.
Okay, very interesting. Cool. Do you have any final words before we transition to our next talk?
Sure. I think that's it. We definitely welcome you to check it out, participate. We're trying to make it easier to use all the time. We're also announcing new campaigns, rolling out to additional exchanges. So over time, we expect this to grow. I think if anyone who's familiar with liquidity mining and DEXs, our concept applies to centralized exchanges. So that's kind of a different angle. And I think we've spent a lot of time. So if you can read those blogs that I mentioned, that does go into further detail, kind of comparing the two, which I think will be helpful for a lot of users. So actually, Ginger asked one question if we have one more time. So does Hummingbot have a pool of open source strategies that newcomers can use? Yes. So it comes built in with market making, arbitrage, cross exchange market making, and Celo Arb. And we're also we partnered with a balancer. So we're adding Entera. I think Mike mentioned that in the talk this morning. So we're adding integrations to those as well. So a lot of these you can use out of the box. So as we did in the demo that we set up. But if you want to customize, you are able to customize or more. And last question, are we doing campaigns on DEX? Right now, no. We were only on Binance.com for Hummingbot miners, but we will be adding exchanges over time. So initially, we are on deck to do some more centralized exchanges, but we continue to talk to DEXs to see how we can incorporate them in the future.
Cool. This was a really great talk. Thanks so much for taking the time and for being our first sponsor for this conference.
Thanks, Sanjeev.
Cool.
Thanks for organizing.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
everyone, for joining.